Hi, Gary King from thepowertruth.com here. If you tune into any of the media broadcasts, any of the news broadcasts, you're familiar with the term Casey Anthony and the Casey Anthony case, which is in Orlando, Florida. I happen to live in the Tampa Bay area, so I probably get more news coverage about the Anthony case. Nonetheless, it is a nationwide case, and in some instances a worldwide case as well. And if you follow the case, you will understand that at the core of this case is Casey Anthony's reluctance to be honest and transparent. And of course, the other situation is you may be asking yourself, how can a 22-year-old mother of a 3-year-old child, Kaylee Anthony, appear to be completely and totally indifferent about her 3-year-old daughter, to the point where she appears to be totally pathological? How does a person attain that level of indifference? You know, it's no secret in the world today. You look around, and you can do this in your own personal lives. Look around and see what you see for references of things having to do with integrity or character or honesty in your everyday life, where you see anything at all that represents that, anything that would keep that, reminds you of the value of your character and being honest. So we live in the land of indifference, and we live in a society that, for all appearances, does not put a lot of value in personal integrity. And so, you know, then you wind up with a situation where you look at Casey Anthony and you say, well, was her child a gift in her life, or was her child an obligation? And based on all the media coverage, it's very clear that her child was an obligation and not a gift. You know, recently in the local paper where I live, actually 2 days ago, there was a very long article about an attorney and his 22-year-old female client. 9 years ago, that 22-year-old female client was involved in a murder case, and actually came to her attorney and divulged that she knew exactly where the body was buried. And of course, this attorney has kept this secret for 9 years, which is in fact what he had to do with attorney-client privilege. And of course, for the last 9 years, this attorney has suffered greatly in his, you know, how he felt about the family and how he felt about keeping this a secret. And of course, what happened is, after 9 years, the woman has come forward, the 22-year-old woman back then came forward and told the authorities what had happened 9 years later. And of course, literally now the attorney is out of that emotional prison of keeping that secret for all that time. So, you know, in regard to Casey Anthony, what's very interesting is just exactly what does her attorney know about the case. And the other interesting thing about the case is, again, how did Casey Anthony get to the point where she doesn't recognize, or doesn't appear to recognize, any kind of value system? You know, how does that reflect? I mean, where did she learn? My belief and my studies tell me that for the most part, lying is learned behavior. A lot of that happens by your family and your peers. So the question is, will Casey Anthony at some point in time be so overwhelmed with guilt that she'll come forward and actually talk about what's true? You know, I tune into the Nancy Grace show a lot of times because I like Nancy's style. I like the fact that she likes to get to the core of the issues, and of course she focuses on what's true. And it's no secret these days that so many court cases really have not a lot to do with truth at all. They have to do with winning. Truth is not really the issue. Winning is the issue. So I like Nancy Grace's style, and her show is very revealing. So again, check in on yourself. Where are you in the scheme of things when we live in a culture where there's no references, day-to-day references, for authenticity or honesty or integrity and character? You know, where are you? If you really would like to check in with yourself, you can go to my website, thepowertruth.com, and you'll notice there's a section in there that says the 24-hour truth challenge. You can actually go on that page, you can print a contract that I've written, And that contract is a contract you sign to yourself. And what you're basically doing is agreeing to be honest and authentic and transparent for 24 straight hours. It's kind of like checking in with yourself to see where you are at this point in time, having to do with a value system, a core value system. So again, you've heard me say this before, there's nothing more important than your character. There's no such thing as an inconsequential lie, and there never was. If you want to have an amazing, healthy, wealthy, and happy life, be honest.